get started on the Redevelopment Commission meeting February 7th, 2022. So the first item on the agenda is roll call. So commissioners.
Deb Hutton, yes.
Deborah Meyerson here.
David Walters here.
Cindy Canarney's here. Right. Next item on the agenda is reading of the minutes for January 24th, 2022 and executive summary for January 24th, 2022. I'll entertain a motion.
This is David Walter. I read through the minutes. I have no changes or corrections. So I'd like to make a motion that we accept the meeting minutes for January 24th and the executive summary for January 24th, 2022.
Deb Hutton, seconded.
A second. All in favor by roll call.
Deb Hutton, yes.
Deborah Meyerson, yes.
David Walter, yes.
Cindy Canarney, yes. Moving on to examination of claims for January 24th, 2022 for $309,451.98. I'll entertain a motion.
This is David Walter. I'll make a motion to accept the claims for January 21st, 2022.
This is Deborah Meyerson. I'll second that motion.
I have a first and a second. All in favor via roll call.
Deb Hutton, yes.
Deborah Meyerson, yes.
David Walter, yes.
Cindy Canarney, yes. Passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda, examination of payroll registers for January 28th, 2022 in the amount of $42,920.85. I'll entertain a motion.
Deb Hutton, I move to accept or approve the payroll registers of January 28th, 2022.
This is Deborah Meyerson. I'll second that motion.
All right, we have a first and a second. All those in favor via roll call.
Deb Hutton, yes.
Deborah Meyerson, yes.
David Walter, yes.
Cindy Canarney, yes. Passes unanimously. Next on the agenda, report of officers and committees. Is there a director's report?
Just briefly, Madam President, John Zodi with the hand department. Just want to let the commissioners know that at our next meeting on February 21st, we should have an update on the hospital project for you. And just want to make sure everyone saw the news late last week that the new neighborhood of the hospital site is going to be known as the Hopewell neighborhood, which has a lot of historical context there. And we're glad to see that process moving ahead. And we'll have a broader update for you on the meeting on February 21st. That concludes my report.
Thank you for that report. Commissioners, any questions? If not, is there a legal report?
No report, but I'm happy to answer any questions the commissioners may have.
Thank you. Is there a treasurer's report?
No report, but again, happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Any business development updates? All right, not hearing any. We'll move on. First item for consideration is resolution 22-08. Who would like to speak to us regarding this?
I'll speak to that, Madam President. Thank you. Commissioners, as we do every year, the city receives an allocation from the U.S. Housing and Urban Development Department for the Community Development Block Grant dollars. So what you have before you tonight is the program year 2022 recommendations of our Citizens Advisory Committee. And that committee is comprised of two groups. Number one is the group who deals with public services, also known as social services. And the second group is our physical improvements group who deals with projects, sort of capital projects, construction, infrastructure, that kind of thing. The applications for community development block grant dollars were due in November after some technical assistance training that was done with applicants from around the city. And those were due in November. The CAC, as we call it, the advisory committee did their work in December and January, heard from the applicants and went through their evaluation process, and they are making their recommendations to you tonight. After your consideration of it, should you approve of the recommendations, it'll go on to City Council. And then the process from there is, once the council would approve, we won't find out exactly how much money our allocation is. So if you note, the resolution is a little tentative as to the dollar amount. That's because we don't know yet exactly what our dollar amount will be. We'll find that out probably in late spring. And so you'll see in the resolution that there are sort of caveats for how awards would be adjusted, either increased or decreased based on the final award amount. So I want to thank our Citizens Advisory Committee members, some of whom are on here tonight. I want to thank all of those who applied. As usual, we've got some great projects with a lot of need here in the community, and look forward to your consideration of those tonight. I'm happy to answer any questions about the resolution. I also want to thank the hand staff. Brent Pierce is on, Matt Swinney and Cody Toothman, our two program managers for CDBG, are on as well to answer any questions if we're not able to. Thank you.
This is David Walter, and other commissioners. Just want to make sure everybody realizes this is a public hearing on the allocations. That should have been announced before we began this, but anyone from the public that wants to speak to any of these allocations may do so. And with that in mind, I've been on these committees for a number of years. I recognize a lot of the applicants, and the recommendations are interesting, but we never have enough money to fund fully everything that comes in. And I appreciate the work that both committees have done in doing these meetings and allocations. That's all I have to say.
Any other questions from commissioners? If not, is there anyone from the public that wishes to make a statement? All right, not seeing any public comments. I'll ask for a motion for approval.
This is David Walter. I'll make a motion that we accept the recommendations of the CAC committees as outlined in resolution 22-08.
Deb Hutton, I'll second.
We have a first and a second. All in favor, vote via roll call.
Deb Hutton, yes.
Deborah Meyerson, yes.
David Walter, yes.
Cindy Canarney, yes. Passes unanimously.
Madam President, if I may, I sort of thank them generally, but Commissioners Hutton and Meyerson were on the Citizens Advisory Committee too. So I want to thank them especially for their work. Deb Hutton did our physical improvements, and Deborah Meyerson did public services. So I want to thank them especially for their work here. So sorry I didn't call you out individually before.
Yeah, I think it's one of the interesting and exciting parts and certainly rewarding parts of being a part of these committees. So certainly appreciate the participation and look forward to continued participation. And thanking the volunteers, as David mentioned, very worthy causes, and definitely happy to be a part of that. All right, it says on the agenda, this is the end of the public hearing. I guess I had a question about that.
Larry, were you speaking to that?
Well, what's your question?
It says on the agenda, says end of public hearing after resolution 22-08. I wanted to see if that was factual or not.
That's correct. Yeah. So the only time that you're mandatorily, as David greatly acknowledged, the only time you're mandatorily required to take public comment is during a public hearing. So this is just announcing that that period has closed and we'll move on to regular business of the commission.
Okay, thanks, Larry.
Mhm.
So onward, let's consider resolution 22-09, yeah, approval of change order number 2. Who would like to speak to this?
Good evening, Matt Smothers with the Engineering Department. This project included the replacement of the traffic signal and the ADA ramps at the intersection. The change order covers all the pay items for the contract that either had an overrun or underrun, and that resulted in an increase to the contract of $359.20. The new contract sum would then be $336,593.62. This change order was approved by the Board of Public Works at their meeting last week, and this would be the last change order for the project. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions from the commissioners?
Matt, you
hearing.
sure this is the last change order?
As sure as I
Keep
can be.
remembering 17th Street.
That was an outlier. Had a lot more success here lately.
Okay, great.
Any questions from the public? All right, not hearing any, I'll entertain a motion.
This is Deborah Meyerson. I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2209, the approval of change order number 2 for traffic signal placement at 3rd and Indiana.
This is Deb Hutton. I'll second that motion.
All right, we have a first and a second. All in favor via roll call?
Deb Hutton, yes.
Deborah Meyerson, yes.
David Walter, yes.
Cindy Canarney, yes. Motion 22-09 has been approved unanimously.
Thank you.
All right, next item on the agenda is any general business.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Of Larry. So supposedly we just had a public hearing only having to do with that resolution about the CAC, but aren't our RDC meetings open to the public? And therefore, what's the difference between the two?
Absolutely. Yeah, so public hearing is a term of art actually described in the open doors law. So that it's a very specific type of hearing. Now, our meetings are of course open to the public. They always have to be, the public is allowed to view them. The difference is where statutorily you have to require comment. Now, as a practice, the RDC typically allows public comment on all of its business. So the distinction is kind of much more muddied with the RDC because we always allow public comment anyways. But under Indiana law, strictly under Indiana law, you could still have a public meeting where the public is entitled to watch the meeting and be present at the meeting, but they're not necessarily entitled to comment at the meeting, except for those cases that call for an explicit public hearing as a term of art under the law. The way we operate, again, we accept public comment throughout these processes, so it's similar.
Thank you very much.
All right, any other questions from the commissioners or discussion? Not hearing any, I'll take a motion that we adjourn.
This is Deborah Meyerson, so moved.
This is
All right.
David Walter. I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, aye as well.
Everybody.
Good night, everybody.